For the last couple of months, I've been testing a brand new dash cam. I've been bringing it from car to car, and it's the Vantrue N2 Pro. And what's unique about this is the world's first dash cam that has dual 1080p cameras in it. So let's get started. What's in the box? It's pretty simple. You get a user's manual, a quick start guide, a mini USB cable, a suction mount with a 10-foot cable with a 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter. And then of course you get the camera. It's pretty straightforward. You can see there are two lenses, one in the front and one in the back. Now the one facing the back, which is facing you, is rotatable. So depending on where your camera is positioned or how tall you are, you can adjust where that camera points. Also, that camera is equipped with infrared night vision, and we'll show you that in a little bit. The controls are very, very straightforward. On the bottom, you have a power button, you have a left and a right arrow and a menu button, and then by the screen, you have an OK button to start recording or stop recording if you want to manually stop it, and a large P button to mark an event, and we'll get to that in a second. Install is a breeze. Of course, you just take that suction mount, you suck it to the window, and you turn the clamp. And what's nice is the USB cable that's plugged into your cigarette lighter is connected to the suction mount. So you don't have to actually plug this in. You just have to line up the shoe here and just push it in, and it turns on and starts recording all by itself right away. That's how easy it is. The menu is really easy to use. If you want to change your resolution, for instance, you just go into record settings, change your resolution, because if you don't want to have both cameras running, the front and the back, you can actually just have the front one going at a higher resolution at 1440p. I like to have both though, because you might be able to see something on the side if someone's gonna hit you or someone from the back. So it's nice to have both those, but if you really want the clearest detail from the front, I'd turn that one off and just use the front camera only. Also, things you can change is the interval, how many minutes each clip is going to be. I find the ideal number to be 3 minutes myself. Then you can get into parking mode. So what that is as long as you have power to your camera and parking mode switch on, it uses a motion sensor and it can record from whenever it senses motion. So this is great for if you're parked overnight. I could have really used this on our Highlander because someone went and hit the front bumper and scratched it all up. And of course, they didn't leave a note or anything. And that's the only damage I've had on that car. And it wasn't because of me even. If I had the dash cam at that time in parking mode, then it might have seen who hit me and I could have grabbed a license plate. But one thing about that though is in parking mode, you have to have either a battery supply to it or it has to be hardwired into your vehicle. At this point, I haven't hardwired anything because I moved this from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. So maybe later on the Highlander. There's also a GSensor built into the N2 Pro. So basically the dash cam's always recording. We're gonna record in 3-minute increments, making 3-minute files. And when that card is full, it goes and it erases the oldest one and so on and so forth. But if you want to, let's say, make an event, oh, you saw something, you wanna record that or you wanna make sure that's saved, you would just hit the P button and it will actually take a snapshot and put that into a different folder. Those files go into an event folder, and those ones do not get erased, so they're protected. But also, even if you don't hit that marker button, if you're in an accident, or someone hits you, obviously, and it senses that, it'll automatically mark that for you. So that's a really, really good thing, and you can also adjust how sensitive that GSensor is. Speaking of files, it's really simple, the file structure. When you bring it into your computer, you have 3 folders. There is photos, obviously. When you hit the button, take a still, you're gonna get photos, that goes in one folder. Then you get normal operations. So on those ones, if you're using both cameras, they'll be one after another. So, and they're all time-stamped as well. So you'll have this one pointing forward and the one pointed back. And then you have the event folder, and those are all ones that you've manually triggered or you had an accident and it's triggered itself, and those are saved on there like we mentioned. what I actually might do is get an additional suction mount and put that on our other vehicle, because then you could just swap this dash cam from one vehicle to another and back without having to rewire anything. That's a pretty nice thing. This dash cam is kind of like having two cameras for the price of one. And where it's going to be really handy, of course, if you're a ride-sharing driver, an Uber or Lyft driver or a taxi driver, it's going to be really nice. Just gives you a little bit more sense of security knowing that everything that's happening in the cabin is being recorded on video and audio. And this is what it sounds like, by the way, with the audio. All right, so it is pitch black right now. There are no street lights on whatsoever on this road. This is what it looks like with the back-facing infrared camera enabled. Now we're getting some street lights. That night vision camera really is something else. It's amazing the quality you can get from something of that size. So in conclusion, I think this dash cam is great. It's done everything that I need to do. I really don't want to leave home without it now. You just have that sense of security. It's not going to save you from an accident, but it just saves so much time. If you do get in an accident, you have proof right there. And I've had an instance before where I was in an accident and it was 100% the other person's fault. They even admitted it until I got to the insurance company where they changed their story. And I fought for months before it was finally reversed because they were going to put 50% of the blame onto me. If I would have had a dash cam recording that incident, you'd have no dispute whatsoever. Just a couple of things I think that could be improved on this. First of all, one small little thing, the rubber flap that covers the hole for the SD card and the micro USB, it's really hard to pry up, especially when you don't have nails. I used a little bit of a knife to pry that up. That's not a big deal though. And the picture quality is good, but I'm not a big fan of the color. It's a little bit on the magenta side. Yeah, we're not making films here. This is just for actual data collection. But you know, if you could make it a little bit more accurate, the color, it would be better. And also, you can adjust exposure on this, but there's no way to control the exposure for each individual camera. So I'm noticing the exposure on the outside is fine, but on the inside, it might be a little bit too bright. So I'd like to just adjust the exposure just for the one camera and leave the other camera the way it is. If you're looking for a dash cam with a lot of features at a reasonable price, this one really is worth looking at. How much is it? On Amazon.com, it's $199. But if you look in the video description, there are two links. One for US clients and one for Canadian clients. US clients, you save 15% with that code. Canadian clients save 19%. So check those out if you're interested in this N2 Pro. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.